Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we go to the second road course race of the season in the Cup Series here at Watkins Glen, as well as the first road course race of the season in the Xfinity Series. For our team, we're going to have Ron Fellows, a fellow Canadian, in the car here today for us. So he had a great qualifying effort, actually, starting in the third position as they went down into turns one behind pole sitter of Justin Allgaier there, as Ryan Preece would quickly hop through to take the lead out of turns one. But Fellows, he would be able to quickly move up through on the left side of Allgaier there to take over the second position early on in this race, and he would quickly set his sights on the back of Ryan Preece. He came to a few laps later now, making a pass on the right hand side of Preece to take over the lead. We haven't won since Atlanta or Las Vegas with this team earlier in the season with Eric Jones, and now Fellows takes the lead here, and he would not look back as he came to the final lap now, just cruising to victory at this point, as you see Preece about maybe 6-7 car lengths or so behind as Fellows comes through the final few corners now, heading down into the last corner. Ron Fellows is going to come through in his first start for this team. He is going to come through to win in Watkins Glen here as we go back-to-back with Watkins Glen victories, as we won last season here as well in the Xfinity Series with Fernando Alonso in the car. So a great effort for this team. Finally, we return back to victory lane to get some more playoff points, as we still have to make a decision on who's going to be the driver for us in the playoffs. Likely looking like maybe Eric Jones at this point is going to be in the car, but we'll have to make a decision here within the next handful of episodes. And as we came to qualifying now in the Cup Series race, obviously we're hoping for a good qualifying effort here as we get a lot of oversteer on the exit of the left-hand. A bit of a mistake going into the last corner, so I knew right away this wasn't going to be a great lap. Last season we crashed in qualifying, so it's definitely going to be better than last season. As we cross the line, it's still going to be a 108.541, and we still get a decent qualifying position as we get ready to start the second road course race of the season at Watkins Glen in the 8th position. So let's hope that we can move forwards here and win the race.
Today, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series visits New York and Watkins Glen International for the running of the Go Bowling at the Glen. The Glen is NASCAR's second road course stop of the season. In 2015, this 2.5-mile, 7-turn track underwent a full repave that made the racing surface much smoother and added a ton of grip. However, drivers still need to be careful out there, especially when entering the famed bus stop chicane, an area of the track notorious for taking out even the best drivers. Okay, the pins are set. It's time to go bowling at the Glen.
Alright, we are ready to go green here for the GoBowling.com at the Glen. Jimmy Johnson going to the back after replacing the transmission before the race, as well as Kevin Harvick starting in the back with an engine change after qualifying as we get ready to go green here in Watkins Glen. Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch are the two drivers on the front row as we're ready to go green here for the road course race at the Glen as the green flag is out, and we are underway alongside the 10 of Eric Almirola as we head down towards turns 1 for the first time in this event. There as we go side by side, still with Almirola as we go a little bit wide on the exit of turn 1. You're going to see that quite often in this race now as we come through, still side by side with the 10, but as we come up through the S's, we're going to be able to clear Eric Almirola as we head up the track, head up the hill, down to the back straightaway, closing in now on Alex Bowman as he cuts down just in front of me, so we get into the back of him just a little bit there as we head down the straightaway. Going to look to his right hand side with a chance to move up to P6 early on as we head down into the bus stop, but being a little bit careful now as Bowman would be able to stay clear of me as we came through on the exit of the bus stop, getting in the grass just a little bit there as we come through the carousel now, and we really would struggle to actually hang with these guys in front of me at the beginning of this first stage as we would start fading just a tiny bit as we come through now to lap 3 of 4 in stage 1, still in the exact same position, going absolutely nowhere at this point behind Alex Bowman, as obviously Watkins Glen, we don't have a lot of time to do much here. These stages are short. And we were quickly already approaching the white flag here in this first stage. As I just said, the stages are so short here except for the final stage, and we would actually make a mistake in which put me behind, as you see, like 2 seconds or so behind Alex Bowman now on the final lap of this first stage as we come through down into the carousel. Over 5 seconds behind the leader, and we haven't gained any positions really since the first lap after we passed Eric Almirola. So certainly some work that has to be done if we want to be a contender for this race victory now as we head down into the final few turns here in the first stage. Bowman up ahead in P6. He is fighting to stay the last car in the playoffs as we have a bit of a moment there with a lot of oversteer on the exit of the corners. I almost spun out, but we would manage to save it as we came through now out of the last corner down the front straightaway. We would come through to get P7 in the first stage. So certainly some work needed to be done, and I know we can definitely make it happen. I was very confident that we could still work our way forwards here as we would not have to come to pit road as no one else is coming, so we will have to make a pit stop at the end of stage 2, but Chase Elliott wins stage 1, gets an extra playoff point to his name as we're ready to go green to start stage 2. We will be starting behind Jamie McMurray as we're ready to go green for stage 2. The stage is underway still alongside Eric Almirola, just like we were at the initial start of this race. The grid looks pretty similar to the initial start now as we head down into turns 1, playing it a little bit safe here as we come out of the corner, and we get into the back with McMurray just a little bit now as we push to the left-hand side as we head down into the S's. Almirola once again on my right side, but we get clear of him and just barely tag McMurray in the back bumpers. We look to his right-hand side as we come up through the S's, and we're going to be able to make a pass on Jamie McMurray now as we clear him and quickly gaining a position on this start here in stage 2. So moving up into that 6th position, setting our sights on the back of Alex Bowman in the number 88, trying to move ourselves up towards the top 5. They're getting into the grass a bit as we came through the bus stop now as we head down into the carousel. We're going to stick it up the outside of Bowman, trying to make a daring move here to make the pass now as we come out of the carousel. We do power ourselves ahead of Alex Bowman here as we go side by side down the straightaway, and we do clear him before we get to the corner. So we move now into the top 5 here behind our teammate of Martin Truex Jr. A much better start already to the second stage than the first stage was at all now as we come through out of the last corner, getting a good run on the back of our teammate of Truex, and we're going to try and use the momentum and look to his right hand side now as we come across the line heading down towards turns 1, 3 to go in stage 2 already as we head down into turns 1, going a little bit wide there as we're going to push Truex a little bit wide. We don't make any contact, so it was clean as possible. We would get ahead of Truex, and that's one thing at this racetrack that is very weird. As you see, I would not gain anything on the car's head within the next few laps, so we struggled to close in once they had gotten away. But in turns 1, once you're in green flag conditions other than restarts, it's so hard to beat the AI into turns 1 and braking because they can brake so much later than you for some odd reason in turns 1, and we're certainly going to have to cope with that. And we started closing in now, you see, on Clint Boyer, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Busch as we are approaching now the white flag here in this second stage, just trying to hold on to a top 5 at this point now as we would end up getting a caution, and that would end up stage 2, or that would end stage 2 just short as we had 1 lap to go. So we'd get P4, and we would have to come to pit road to take 2 cans of fuel, and I would take no tires as we would come out just where we came in, with a chance to maybe take the lead here if we have a really good restart for this final stage as we're ready to go green. And the final stage in Watkins Glen is already underway now as it's much longer. It's double the length that the first 2 stages were now as we head down into turns 1 side by side with the 14 of Clint Boyer. Bowman behind me now as we get loose on the exit of the corner, but we clear Clint Boyer and take over the 3rd position as Elliott prevails to the lead over Kyle Busch as we head up the S's. And we have a big run on the back of Kyle Busch as we come up through. We're going to make a pass on the right-hand side as his momentum stalls, and we move up quickly into that 2nd position. Our hard work through these first 2 stages has paid off as we find ourselves in that 2nd position as we head down into the bus stop behind Chase Elliott. But we know that 9 car is fast. He has shown speed this whole race. So has Kyle Busch, but it certainly seems like Elliott right now has the fastest car. He has 2 wins this season. We have 2 wins. Kyle Busch behind me has 4 wins. So these drivers we can be a little bit more aggressive with if we're coming down to the end fighting for a victory now, as we are all multiple wins locked into the playoffs as we head down into the left-hander. And we were really struggling to run down the 9 of Elliott, and I was a little concerned, but I noticed that we still at this point had 10 laps to go now as we come through to lap 16, 9 to go, with Kyle Busch closing in on my back bumper. Now is this going to set it on my inside and hit me in the right rear and shoot me wide off the track there as we fall down to the 3rd position, as Boyer's going to come through and make the pass as well. And our whole race has been jeopardized as we do power through though quickly to pass Clint Boyer right back now as we set our sights on the 18 of Kyle Busch, as we would end up getting another caution, and this would set up for another restart as Kyle Busch completely punted me out of the way. Like I said, they can brake so much later into turns 1, and Kyle Busch took full advantage of that and hit me in the right rear. And this restart could be our last chance to have a shot at victory as the green flag is back. 6 laps remain at this point in Watkins Glen. A great launch for myself as we push the 9 down into turns 1. Like I said, potentially our last chance to take the lead. And we're on full attack mode as we come out of turn 1, going wide, now making a 3 wide with the 9. In the 18 as we go up, the S is 3 wide between myself, Elliott, and Bush. An incredible move to go to the lead now as we go from 3rd to 1st with a 3 wide move. And now we are in command in Watkins Glen. An incredible pass for the lead, certainly 3 wide, an absolutely terrible idea, but I went for it because I was confident that I could pull it off, and we have pulled it off now as we lead through the bus stop here, heading down into the carousel. And I know we have the speed to hold on, except there's one spot we have to be very careful in, and that's turn 1. That's where Elliott and everyone else is stronger than me, as they can break so much later in me into turns 1. And as you see here, as we came to lap 21 now, at this point, 4 to go, Elliott would take full advantage of that, and he would send it up my inside as we went into turns 1, and Elliott would retake the lead here in Watkins Glen, but it wasn't over now as we come up down into the S's. I know we're going to have the momentum coming up the hill, and you see it right here. We have so much more speed right now than the 9 of Elliott. We look to his right-hand side, and we would take the lead back as we came up through down the back straightaway. Thank goodness we were able to get that back as we set our sights on hanging onto the lead as we approach the bus stop now, just in front of Chase Elliott as we head down towards the carousel, getting sideways through the exit of the bus stop into the carousel there, trying to push as hard as I can as we would end up getting a caution again, and this would force overtime. And that 3 wide pass for the lead in the S's has put us in command here for this final restart, as we have a chance to win in Watkins Glen for win number 3 on the season, as the green flag is out. Me and Elliott side by side with 2 laps to go here in overtime as we head down into turns 1. Elliott's going to stick it up the inside there as he has the edge as we come out of turn 1, side by side with the Napa 9 driver as we come through down towards the S's, sticking it up the left-hand side as we come through the bend. We have the momentum and the speed to pass the 9 of Elliott and clear ourselves for the lead once again as we head up down the straightaway, getting up on the grass there just for a very quick moment there as we hang on to the lead as we head down towards the bus stop, and we would continue to lead for the rest of this lap now, heading into the final few corners, approaching the white flag here in Watkins Glen. Elliott all over my back bumper at this point. Kyle Busch right behind him now as we exit the last corner. The white flag is looking at us right now as we come through to cross the line. The white flag's in the air, and we're going to have to go defensive here into turns 1 because this is Elliott's best chance. So we go defensive, and Kyle Busch is going to stick it up the outside, but we come out of turn 1 and we clear him as he and Elliott now will battle side by side, and that's exactly what we need to run away here through the S's as we try to set our sights on a victory. And Kyle Busch is actually now clear of Elliott, so he is going to try and set his sights on me now as we come through, heading down the back straightaway, heading down towards the bus stop. We won this race a couple seasons back in season 2 with the number 1 car, and now we have a chance to come through now on the final lap to win again in Watkins Glen after we made a 3 wide pass through the S's to take the lead a few restarts ago, and that's what has put us in this position to come through the carousel for the final time, about 4 to 5 car lengths ahead of Kyle Busch as we come down the straightaway. Just a couple more corners to go here as we have 2 wins on the season. Busch lurking behind with 4 wins. He certainly wants another one to get another 5 playoff points, but I want these 5 playoff points more right now as we head down into the final corner. And we come through the final corner with no problems at all, and come down the front straightaway ahead of Busch and Elliott, and we are going to win in Watkins Glen.
Great job, driver. Second flag's in the air. It's yours.
A great last stage here at the Glen. Our 2nd career win at this track. 4 of our career wins now have come at road courses. Obviously, 2 Watkins Glen wins, a Sonoma win, and a Charlotte Roval win. So we certainly have a good track record right now when it comes to the road courses. So hopefully we can keep up this momentum now going down into the playoffs. Win number 3 on the season. I was starting to wonder if we're going to get back to victory lane, because really we only really won 1 race this season. The other one was complete luck when Kurt Busch blew an engine at Dover, so we just stole that victory that we didn't deserve there. But now we pick up the win here. Certainly, if I didn't make that 3 wide move up the S's on Elliott and Busch, we probably would not have came out of here in the position that we did. We probably would have been like 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. But thankfully, I made a move that really was a bad idea. 3 wide through the S's is an awful idea at Watkins Glen, but I did it anyways because the 3 drivers that were up front, me, Kyle Busch, Elliott, we all have wins. We're locked into the playoffs, so I decided, well, why not? Let's go and make a daring move and see if it works out. If we crash, well, we crash. We're locked into the playoffs. So that was the kind of the mindset with that move. You see Kevin Harvick, second place in the points, has yet to get a win this season, and that could certainly bite him when it comes down to the playoffs, as he is going to be lacking playoff points at this rate. So he's certainly got some work to do. Last season's champion in our career mode has to get some wins here before the playoffs start, and it looks like he only has 4 races to go, and him and Joey Logano both have 0 wins right now, so very surprising from those 2 drivers. So we're going to see how that plays out within the final 4 races of the playoffs. Next episode will be Mid-Ohio in Xfinity, where we might have a F1 driver again there, and then we have Road America coming up shortly for Xfinity with AJ Allmendinger in the car. But we will be going to Michigan as well in Cup for the next episode, and that's usually a really good track for myself, so we might be able to go get win number 4 there on the season. You never know. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very, very appreciated. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this video and other videos of mine. There you see the playoff grid before we go into Michigan. Austin Dillon, the first guy out, 73 points back. So Bowman is in good shape. We'll see if he can continue to hold on to that last playoff spot. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Have yourselves a great day.